Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking an absolutely incredible and, frankly, harrowing true story of human resilience on the open seas. It's a journey of raw survival, the relentless pursuit of liberty, and a profound legacy that echoes all the way into the present day. We're going to explore a chapter of history that really challenges our understanding of escape, navigation, and the absolute lengths people will go to for their freedom. Let's dive right in. 36. Just take a second and imagine the sheer relief, the total physical exhaustion, and the overwhelming triumph of 36 people finally making landfall after a truly treacherous journey. These weren't tourists or merchants, These were people fighting against completely impossible odds for the most basic human right imaginable, their own freedom. That was the exact scene on Christmas Day back in 1858. A group of 36 freedom seekers miraculously washed up on the shores of Nassau in the Bahamas. Just picture that moment in your head. It's Christmas Day, a time we traditionally associate with hope and new beginnings, and for these folks, that meaning was incredibly literal. They had just left behind the brutal, violent realities of slavery and stepped onto shores where their lives would be fundamentally, permanently changed. But to really grasp the magnitude of this arrival, we have to pause and ask a massive question. How on earth did 36 enslaved people manage to conquer the open ocean to find freedom in the first place? It's not like they had commercial transport or guaranteed safe passage. They had to somehow cross hundreds of miles of perilous, unforgiving ocean. Section 1. The Saltwater Railroad. So, we've all heard of the land-based Underground Railroad, right? Well, this was the Saltwater Railroad. It was a highly organized nautical escape route operating between 1821 and 1861, used primarily by enslaved sailors seeking to reach true freedom. For 40 years, the Deep Blue Sea essentially served as a clandestine, life-saving highway. Look at the geographical reality of this for a second. The origins were states like South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. The destination? Nassau, Bahamas. The distance between those points is anywhere from 400 to 600 miles. Think about that. That meant freedom required traversing hundreds of miles of unpredictable, deeply dangerous open water from the American South to the Bahamian Islands. And despite that seemingly impossible distance, historical sources confirm something that's just astonishing. Thousands, literally thousands of people successfully made this passage over 4 decades. It wasn't just a handful of isolated, lucky escapes. This was a sustained, desperate, and ultimately successful movement of thousands of individuals claiming their liberty against all odds. Section 2. Dangers of the passage. Okay, imagine staring down 600 miles of deep water using this completely desperate 3-step plan. Step 1. Hijack a vessel. This wasn't a matter of just quietly slipping away into the night. The journey began with an incredibly dangerous overt act. Step 2. Navigate the open ocean, which obviously requires immense skill and nerve. And Step 3. Evade the authorities the entire time. Every single stage of this journey carried immense, life-threatening risks. The very act of hijacking meant the immediate risk of a violent confrontation. If they were caught, the legal consequences for enslaved individuals in the American South were unimaginably brutal. Then, once you're actually out on the water, you're facing unpredictable weather conditions and extreme long-distance exposure. For hundreds of miles, they were entirely at the mercy of the elements, not to mention the constant threat of interception. Now, you might be wondering, what kind of boats were they actually using for this? Well, exact vessel types are totally unrecorded. They could have been local schooners, sloops, you name it. But one thing is absolutely certain. Whatever these hijacked boats were, they had to be formidable enough to survive a deep ocean crossing of up to 600 miles. The sheer maritime skill required by these enslaved sailors to navigate those waters is just astounding. Section 3. A Legacy of Freedom. After surviving all of that terror and exhaustion, reaching Nassau offered an incredibly stark contrast. It's summed up in one powerful historical sentiment. Bahamians greeted them as free. The Bahamian society didn't look at these exhausted travelers and see property. They didn't see fugitives. They officially recognized these arrivals as free citizens, completely shifting the trajectory of their lives the very moment they stepped ashore. The specifics of this reception are honestly so moving. It started with official, immediate recognition of their freedom. And crucially, they were granted protection from being returned to slavery, meaning no extradition back to the brutal system they had just escaped.
Instead, arriving sailors were protected by local authorities and welcomed into the community with warm celebrations and deep, genuine acceptance. A total paradigm shift. Which brings us right back to that miraculous arrival of 36 people in 1858. It was so deeply impactful that it's still celebrated in Bahamian culture today as a tradition known as Black Christmas. It stands as this incredible, enduring cultural monument to the thousands who braved the Saltwater Railroad and to the society that welcomed them with open arms. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this question to chew on. How does the spirit of that 1858 arrival shape our understanding of liberty today? The Saltwater Railroad isn't just some dusty historical footnotes. It's a powerful, living testament to what people will endure for freedom and the profound, rippling impact of a society choosing to welcome them as free citizens. Think about what that kind of immense courage means for us right now. Thanks so much for hanging out with me to explore this truly incredible story.